Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, this time talking about Kablam, the latest in the 2018 series of Doctor Who. Before I go any further though, I do need to say I've got a couple of announcements. First off, from November the 23rd, which is of course Doctor Who Day, for 1 week, my book Geek Myths is available for 99 pence in the UK and 99 cents in America at the Kindle store. So, if you've been tempted and you're a bit sick of hearing the trailers before every single podcast for my book, please buy it. Absolute bargain price. This is as cheap as Amazon can make it. 99 pence or 99 cents. Just type in Geek Myths. Now, Amazon will probably try and correct you for Greek myths. Correct it and say, no, that's what you meant. Geek Myths by Gilroy Sinclair. And that'll take you straight to it. Similarly, while you're there, for the same week, my play Blue Box Messiah is absolutely free to download. The reason for that is because in New Zealand, this week, my play is actually on. It's being performed. If you want to do a Google search, you'll find out all the details for that. If you're a Doctor Who fan in New Zealand, please check it out. Similarly, in other news, on Tuesday the 27th, at the Square Chapel in Halifax, that's Halifax in the UK, Waris Hussein will be there, talking about and watching with us An Unearthly Child and The Tribe of Gum, or Cave of Skulls, whatever you want to call it. I'll be there, and if you see me, say hello. I'll be the one wearing the Tin Dog Podcast t-shirt, just so you can spot who I am. So please say hello. And last but by no means least, this week I emailed the Oodcast with an idea for a sketch, and bless them, they made it. So if you stick all the way through this review, you can hear that at the very end. They made a much better job than I could ever have managed. Thank you so much for taking my ideas on board and not just emailing me back and going, you're mental, please go away. Which of course they could do anyway. Either way, thank you very much. Right, enough of that nonsense, let's talk about Kablam. There's been a lot of talk this year about the fact that the monsters are a bit rubbish, or there's no big overarching big villain or anything like that, which is fine because, let's face it, we've had that for years. People have been banging on about it for ages, and that's what we've had. Oh, here come the Daleks, they're going to destroy the universe, they're going to move all the planets, here are the Cybermen with their plans to do whatever Cybermen normally do, and that sort of thing. Yeah? People have complained about that for years, and now the same people are complaining that there aren't enough Daleks. Well, you know what? We've got character-driven stuff. We're going to have enough room for all of the characters to breathe and act and interact and be great, and that's what we've got. I'm very happy with this series of Doctor Who. But the thing that's suffering is the thing that I watch Doctor Who for myself, which is the monsters. There's just not that many of them. Last week's monster, the actual monster, was someone whose ideas were just a little bit warped. It wasn't the creature that was in the series. The creatures were just there to bear witness to people's deaths. This time, the villain in itself is, well, it's the Scooby-Doo villain. It was the janitor. Who would have thought it? Unmask him. It was you all along. Imagine that I've just recorded a bit of Scooby-Doo and they're unmasking someone, and that'll just save you a lot of hassle, and save me loads of hassle of having to, get the sample and insert it. Because I am intrinsically a lazy person. Maybe I should be on the Lazy Doctor Who podcast, except, of course, that would involve me actually watching this enormous pile of DVDs behind me. And you know what? I'm too lazy even for that. My issue with this story isn't that it turns out to be a whodunit, and it is a pretty good whodunit because you don't actually think there's going to be a whodunit because you don't know who is doing it until the end, because you know it's not System, and System is the person who's... Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the politics. Yes, everyone who's been listening to this podcast for long enough knows that I'm slightly left of centre, to say the least. And you know what? That's been influenced by my watching of Doctor Who over the years. Last year we had Oxygen, which was a bit less Robert Holmesian than we'd expected. This year, the victim was the corporation. Now, yeah, I know the corporation is doing its best for its own image by hiring 10% of people, which of course not everyone would want to do. Yes, while everyone was looking at their phones, technology snuck in, but it wasn't technology, it was people who did technology. Is this a modern Luddite story? The people who can see that technology and progress is coming and they want none of it, so they're going to chuck their shoes into the machinery. See, Verity Podcast, I'm not the only one who can do history. On the subject of which, I was so grateful for Lynn's talk about the partition and the history, because the people of the UK don't know all this. Never mind the people of America, who it's not even part of their empire. Not that America has an empire. We had one, we broke it. Well, we shouldn't have had one in the first place. Leave it there, that's enough politics. Actually, it's not. Imagine this story as told by Robert Holmes, the most left-wing of the Doctor Who authors. You wouldn't have had... Well, no, you would have had the obvious villain. You would have had the system being the villain, trying to completely remove humans from the system. I mean, let's face it, the people involved in this are basically doing the one bit of the job that they wouldn't need to do. In fact, you could organise the whole thing much better by having the delivery men in the packing area. They go up to the item, they grab the item, and then they just teleport out. There wouldn't need to be any need for wrapping or anything, because they would just teleport straight there, holding the item in their hands and pass it over. There wouldn't be a need for bubble wrap. On the subject of bubble wrap, yet another example of the ordinary things being used as monsters, so that you could wander around your house and play it being Doctor Who. This is actually a genius move. It's very, very clever. I know this dates back to the Pertwee-esque thing, so, oh, it's a little rubber troll, it's in your house, oh no, it's a rubber chair, it's going to get you, it's a plastic daffodil, it's a telephone cord, all that business. Well, this is another example of thing in your house you can use to play with Doctor Who. Oh, it's bubble wrap, it's tension sheet. Yes, we can get back to Red Dwarf in a minute. Bubble wrap, pop, 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 pop. So, you've got bubble wrap in your house, you can play it Doctor Who. It's genius. You've got the house key that's used to open up the TARDIS. These are all things absolutely targeted at kids, and you can't buy them in the shops. It's brilliant. Last time we had the towels, the killer towels. Oh, rag monsters. Yeah, ideal for playing when you're a kid. It's just great. Now, the thing that this has actually got a big dig at, rather than Amazon, because let's face it, Amazon's the victim here because somebody wants to claim their jobs and all sorts, it's Sports Direct. Now, if you're not in the UK, Sports Direct is a shop notoriously badly allegedly it badly treats its employees, so much so that there was a parliamentary investigation. So I don't think I'm on that much of a sticky wicket talking about it like that. The guy who owns the company, law unto himself person, would be a Doctor Who villain, more in the mould of the Trumper-like person from last time. He's now bought up one of the high street chains to turn it into the Harrods of the high street, he said, not realising that the shop Harrods is already on a high street, albeit an expensive one. So, Sports Direct is a suspect company in this sense, and that's why Ryan works for him. It's one of those 0 hours type places, and that, in a sense, is what it's for. Oh, if you are at all affected by the storylines connected here and want to know more about 0 hour contracts in a Doctor Who universe, please check out some of the Torchwood stories. There's at least one of them that is totally about that sort of thing. Now, a lot of people have also talked about the Star Wars moment, with the things going through the corridors and or the packing plant. To me, that was directly from Monsters, Inc., with the doors moving around. That's what it felt like. Oh, on the subject of that Sports Direct thing, it was Ryan's job. Now, Ryan has got dyspraxia. He's a bit clumsy, fair enough. Let's call it that for sake. It's probably not politically correct, but it's a good way of thinking of it in this way, okay? Now, the story demanded that he had a dead-end job and worked there. So that's fine. That's instant backstory. The characterization from earlier episodes, just as being defined, implies that he has dyspraxia. They had to put those two things together and wedge them really tight to make sure it would work. Yes, he's not overly skilled and has what most people would describe as a dead-end job. Oh, and if you like dead-end jobs, feel free to buy Geek Myths. Nice little subtle advert there. You didn't notice it, did you? So, I think it's more of a fudge. The plot needed it, so they stuffed it together, and what came out of it was characterization that we can just about accept. Yeah? Yes, he was terrible at it. So we're implying that muscle memory made his job acceptable, but he still hated it. He still hated his job, and that, although there's not much Ryan action in this episode, is great characterization. So, looking at my notes, I think I've said nearly everything. Apart from the fact that somebody mentioned the People's Republic of South Yorkshire. There is a South Yorkshire. There is a Yorkshire. There is a North Yorkshire. There is even, where I live, West Yorkshire. However, there is no East Yorkshire. East Yorkshire, as my friend Richard once pointed out, is the North Sea. So perhaps East Yorkshire is the coast, is Scarborough, but that classes itself as Yorkshire. So perhaps I need to let this go. Oh, breaks in the home zone. Nice touch. Weird that it had a holodeck feel. Let's all film it in the park. So, how would Robert Holmes react to this? I just don't know. I suspect he'd not be particularly impressed. But then again, his options would have been to make the villain the system, which would have been the storyline we were all expecting, rather than the victim. Interesting, but only if you don't look too hard, which is a definition of modern Who. But then again, we are just, the old school. Next time, we've got witches, one of my all-time favourite things. We've got James I and James VI. It's the same bloke? Yeah. And then we're going to have probably the same as usual. It's a semi-historical where the monsters turn out to be the humans. Yes, we're going to find out about his boyfriends, most probably. But more importantly than that, this is the man who wrote The Hammer of Witches. This is the man who translated very literally some of the Gospels, "Thou shalt not tolerate a witch to live." Yes. Did you know that the Bible doesn't have a stance on vampires? Think about it. They've got a stance on witches, hence the witch trials, but they don't believe in vampires. There's a few other mythical creatures that they don't mention, and because they're not mentioned in the Bible, they instantly get linked by us as possibly universal monsters. Yeah? It's curious, but not important. Witches, well, let's not discuss the whole matriarch, patriarch, people keeping in their place type things until next time. Remind me next time to tell you the story about the Geordie witch hunter. Now that is a story that needs to be written. So, I'll say farewell and speak to you all very soon, probably about Doctor Who. And remember, for this week, you can get some bargains on Kindle. Be seeing you. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.
Well, this is it. I can feel it. Time to pass on. Just another old man, dying, lost and alone. No one to comfort me. No one to mourn me when I'm gone.
Fear not, Jacob Porter. You will not die unmourned, for we are here, the Vajarian witnesses. We are as ancient as the stars, and yet we stand here beside you.
I can hear you in my thoughts.
Come, let us anoint you with the powdered remains of our departed brothers and sisters.
Okay. That's a bit weird, but I'm going to go with it.
It has restorative properties. All your physical wounds will be healed. So if, for instance, you had been shot by a large caliber rifle, a bunch of people checking over your body could conceivably overlook it.
But I haven't been shot by a rifle.
We know. We're just saying if you had been.
All these years alone. It feels so good to have a final conversation.
Well, this is a bit embarrassing.
Who are you?
Yes, we were about to ask the same question.
We are testimony. We are here to harvest your memories, so you may live forever as part of us.
No, we are already here to witness his demise and allow him to live forever as a floaty space dust face in our spaceship.
Pardon our bluntness, but you are an ancient race. We are from the far end of time. Our technology is far in advance of your own. Jacob will live a better eternity with us.
Well, we respectfully beg to differ. We were doing this before you were even born, you glass-based disgrace.
The entirety of intergalactic existence happened before we were born, so that's not exactly much of a recommendation.
Step aside, Mr. Cellophane, or we'll literally smash your face in.
Just try it, 14 Eyes.
Do I get any say in this?
No.
It's just nice to feel wanted, I suppose.
Hello there, darling. My name's Missy. Welcome to heaven.
I think I'm feeling better.